Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. We certainly are happy to have you here. This is Sunday, so you know we're doing a subscriber recipe that has been mailed to us from one of our subscribers. And today's recipe comes from the great state of Hawaii. This recipe was sent to us from Jane Anderson. Jane, I'm going to do the best I can with the name of your town, but I'm just going to apologize before I even try it. I will tell you that I got online to try to learn to pronounce the name of the town, and even the videos I could find of native Hawaiians trying to explain how to pronounce it gave different pronunciations. So I'm going to do the best I can. Jane is from Aiea, Hawaii. It's spelled A-I-E-A. It's very close to Pearl Harbor. And here's the neat thing. Melissa and I have driven right through that little town. We have been to Hawaii a couple of times, and we've always had a rental car and been able to drive around the island. So we have driven right through there. Didn't know that Jane and her husband were there, but if we make it back, we'll know that. We're going to do Jane's recipe for 4-bean enchiladas. Now, I'm just going to tell you, this looks like something that's right up my alley. I think Melissa and I are going to love this, and I'm excited to share it with you. But first, let me share just a little bit of the letter that Jane sent. Part of her letter says, "My husband and I live in Hawaii. You often wear a t-shirt from Hawaii, and I have to tell you, I am so proud when you do, that even though we have only lived here for 5 years. My husband's last career duty station was at Pearl Harbor, and when he recently retired, we just decided to stay.
Not a bad decision.
Can't say I blame you. It's one of the most beautiful places Melissa and I have ever been. Next time y'all come to Hawaii, please let us know, and we'll take you two to dinner. Really." Well, Jane, Melissa and I don't have plans at the moment to come to Hawaii, but
Which is very sad.
It is very sad, but I hope we do get to make it back someday. And I can promise you that when we come back, we will do our best to contact you and get together for dinner, but Melissa and I will pay our own way. And we might even twist your arm to go with us to get some shave ice. She says, "I hope you will consider me a kindred spirit in that I was an elementary school nurse for 7 years and have also spent 13 years in the classroom teaching nursing at a community college. I am now retired, though time to time I miss working. I have enclosed 2 of my tried and true recipes." Those are the recipes we love to get. Things that are tried and true that families have eaten for years. "Each with a bit about how the recipe has come to be a favorite in my kitchen." Now, the recipe that Jane sent has a little part at the top that tells how she got the recipe, what it's about. And this is what it says. "My husband spent 32 years in the Navy." So I want to stop right there and just say that we really do appreciate your service to our country, and we respect that you've given your adult life to protect us. We thank you for that. Then he continued working for the military in a civilian capacity. From time to time, his work group would organize a potluck. Since Jim doesn't cook, I would always make the dishes he took. Time after time, he asked me to make 4-bean enchiladas for his colleagues and told me that it was often the first dish to disappear. We are decidedly meat eaters, but we consider this vegetarian dish a real treat. So today, we're going to make Jane's 4-bean enchiladas. Let's talk about what we're going to use. We're going to start with a 15-ounce can of black beans, a 15-ounce can of pinto beans, a 15-ounce can of kidney beans, And the fourth can, I'm using a 15-ounce can of cannellini beans. Now, these cannellini beans are not on her recipe. Her recipe says to use chickpeas. But I'm not a huge fan of chickpeas. They're okay. I can eat them. But I really do like cannellini beans. And on down in her notes, she says that these are just the ones that she uses and that you can use any 4 beans you like. It's up to you which 4 you use. So I did stay with the black beans, the pinto beans, the kidney beans, but I switched out the chickpeas for cannellini beans. And she did say she chooses the beans that she has because of the colors and how they work well together and the way they look in the dish. And by the way, chickpeas are the same color as cannellini beans, so the color should work. Okay.
It's going to look pretty when it's all together.
We're going to drain and rinse all those beans, and we're going to add to them 1 10.5-ounce can of cheddar cheese soup. We're not going to dilute it. We're going to take it right out of the can and add it in with the beans. And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Now that's all going to go in a large bowl together. You're also going to need some 6-inch tortillas. Jane recommended corn tortillas, but I could not find 6-inch corn tortillas. So I got flour, and in her notes, it does say you can use corn tortillas or flour tortillas. She uses corn because she said she just likes the taste of it with the beans. But I couldn't find 6-inch corn tortillas. I did find corn tortillas, and they were about that big around. They were about 4 inches or a little less. So I got these. In the recipe that Melissa puts down in the description box, we're going to put corn tortillas. But there will be a note at the end of the recipe that says if you want to sub them out for flour tortillas, you can. If you use corn tortillas, you need to use a little bit of oil to brush on each tortilla just to keep it soft and from breaking when you roll them. Because I'm using flour tortillas, we're not going to need to do that. So I'm just going to move this out of our way. We won't be brushing them with the oil. If you use the corn tortillas, you will need to brush them. And she said just a very light brushing. But that'll all be in the directions, in the written directions below the video. Now, we're also going to use a 10-ounce can of enchilada sauce and an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. We'll mix those together to brush on our tortillas and hopefully have some left for the top. And then you're going to need some cheese for the top of your tortillas. I'm using this 4-cheese Mexican, but her recipe says you can use any cheese, cheddar cheese, whatever you want to use, whatever your favorite is. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is get our beans opened and get them drained and rinsed, and then we'll come back and mix them with our cheddar cheese soup and our chili powder. All right, we are putting our cheddar cheese soup in our bowl. And we want to make sure we get all of that out of there because I have a feeling we're going to need all of that to go in our tortillas. Okay, and we're going to add 1 teaspoon of chili powder to that soup. And I'm just going to mix that together before we add our beans. Now I'm just stirring all of our beans into that cheddar cheese and chili powder mixture. By the way, Jane does say not to use the Campbell's nacho cheese soup, that it does not work. I have a feeling it's probably too thin, and because of that, it just runs out of your tortillas or your enchiladas. So she says you really do need to use the cheddar cheese soup. And that's not hard to find, or at least it's not for us. And let's just be honest, if we can find it, just about anybody has it. Because it seems like a lot of products we need are available other places, but not here. But
We have limited choices sometimes.
right, okay, our next thing is that we're going to combine our enchilada sauce and our tomato sauce in a small bowl. And you know I'm going to scrape those because we're going to need every drop of that for our enchiladas. Now we're going to spread just a little. I'm actually going to use a brush just to spread a little bit of this on the tortillas, each tortilla, before I wrap our enchiladas. And then with whatever's left, we will pour that over the enchiladas in our 9x13 dish. And I have already sprayed our 9x13 dish with nonstick spray. All right, that is pretty well combined. Man, that smells good. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to put that right there. We're going to start with one tortilla. I'm going to get a little of that sauce, and she said a very, very thin coating. And you're going to put that on one side, and she did say cover it completely. Then flip it over, and she said your plate's going to be a little messy, so you can just expect that. Flip it over and brush the other side with your enchilada and tomato sauce mixture. Then we're going to take about 1/3 of a cup, and my scoop is 1/3 of a cup. I did measure it. We're going to take about 1/3 of a cup of our mixture, put it on our tortilla, and I'm going to grab a spoon. She suggested you form that into a log on one end of your tortilla. And you could use your fingers to do this too if you don't want to use a spoon. And then roll it up. Yes, it's going to be messy because you have that enchilada sauce on both sides. And we're just going to pick that up and put it seam side down right in our pan. That's all we have to do. Okay, by the way, there's our oven preheated to 350 degrees. So we're just going to continue doing this. Now, Jane's recipe says that you should get about 16 of these from this amount. And she said, I'm not able to get all 16 of the enchiladas in the 9x13 pan, but they like that because she said whatever's left, whatever enchiladas they make that won't fit in the 9x13 pan, they have for dinner that night. So she makes them for Jim to take to work with him, but they also get dinner out of it.
That's a good deal.
That's a great deal. Cook once,
Eat twice.
absolutely. All right, so here's our second one. We're just going to roll it up, and notice I'm not tucking the sides under. They're open, but that's okay because that's what she told us to do. So I'm going right into our 9x13, and we're just going to continue brushing and filling, rolling, and adding our enchiladas right into that 9x13 pan. Now I'm just taking that extra sauce that we had left and spooning a spoonful over each tortilla. Then I will come back and make sure that the tortilla shells are completely covered, because Jane said they need to be covered so that they don't dry out during baking. So I'm just taking my brush and dabbing to make sure that every bit of the top of these is completely covered. I will just continue to do that. Now, when we get finished here, I'll just use the back of my spoon. When we get finished with these, then whatever sauce I have left, I will just pour right over all of these enchiladas. But we just want to make sure that they are covered. I'm going to give you a tip in a minute about putting on the cheese that Jane put in her instructions that I think is really good. And why I've never thought of it before, I don't know. I'm just a little irritated at myself for not coming up with it myself, but that's okay. All right, one more. Now, I want to make sure this one has plenty of sauce because it just isn't covered. There we go. So I'm just going to take this and drizzle it over all of these enchiladas, just to make sure they have plenty on there. And some on this pan. And I really do like that this gives us 2 pans full, because that really is nice if you want to take a pan somewhere and keep a pan at home. I think that's a great, great thing. All right. We have our enchilada sauce in. I'm going to put a little more over here. And of course, I'm going to scrape that bowl. And Jane does say to make sure you scrape the plate that you were rolling your enchiladas on, because that's going to have a lot of sauce on it. So don't leave that on the plate. Scrape that off too. Put it right in your
She's definitely a kindred spirit, isn't she?
She absolutely is. Now here's the trick Jane gave me. She said when you're putting your cheese on, not to sprinkle it over the top. She said take it and run it right along the top of each enchilada. That way, when the cheese bakes and melts, you can see where each enchilada begins and ends. Because I will tell you, when I've made enchiladas before, after they bake, it's hard to tell where they are. And sometimes you just have to start digging and hope you get a whole one. So I think this is a great trick.
Kind of surprised that there's no cheese in the mixture with the beans.
I know, there's not. But I guess this is sufficient. This is going to be enough. But I cannot wait to dig into these. All right, I'm just going to continue putting cheese on. And when we've got cheese on all of our enchiladas, by the way, her directions does say 6 ounces of cheese. I couldn't find a 6-ounce package of Mexican blend, so I ended up with a 16-ounce, which means I'm gonna have plenty of cheese. But, you know, you put as much or as little as you want. Her recipe does call for 6 ounces. All right, when we get all these covered, I'm going into the oven with them I'm not going in, they're going in. I just said I'm going into the oven. No, I'm not, I promise you. But they're going in for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. And then we'll take them out and show you what they look like, and we're going to sample one for you. Guys, look at these enchiladas.
Oh, that looks so good.
They look good and they smell wonderful.
No, I'm hungry.
I am too, and it's time for dinner. Now, Jane suggested putting Mexican rice with the enchiladas, which I thought was a fabulous idea. Melissa and I are also going to have some tortilla chips with queso. So that's what's on the plate. Melissa, you ready for the first bite?
I am.
All right, babe. Here you go.
I like it. I really like the enchilada sauce.
Do you? Mm-hmm. And the tomato sauce?
Mm-hmm. And the bean combination is really good. That's delicious. Caroline's going to love that. She's coming out to eat dinner with us. Luke
Our youngest daughter's coming. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was like, Luke has a work meeting, so she's going to come out and eat with us. And I think she'll love it.
She will love these. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Like Jane and Jim, I'm a meat eater. I don't miss it at all in these. Now, I think if you wanted to, you could put some shredded chicken in that.
Or even beef.
But yeah, you could do beef. But I'm telling you.
It's really good without it, just with the beans.
Wow, that's good. Okay, I better not eat all this on camera. Sorry. That's fabulous, guys. If you don't try this, you're missing out. I'm just telling you.
I can see why this is a popular at a potluck goes first kind of dish.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we have our next potluck, this may go with us. It's definitely going into our rotation. We will do this a lot. All right. We sure do appreciate you being here. Quickly, just let me ask you to go right below this video and click the like button. If you haven't before, click that subscribe button, a little notification bell beside of it, and the word all. That just joins you to our channel. Costs nothing. It's free. It just subscribes you to our channel so that you'll know when we put up a new video. Right below this video, there's a description box. It's going to say 4 bean enchiladas. If you'll click in that box, it will expand. You'll find the written recipe. You'll find our contact information if you want to mail recipes to us, tried and true recipes that your family loves, and we'll consider using those on our Sunday subscriber series, just like Jane sent hers to us.
All the way from Hawaii.
I know.
That's so awesome.
We really want to come visit you. Okay, under the contact information, you're going to find a link to our cookbook. If you're interested in our cookbook, you can go down there and click that link. I'll just give you the website address. It's www.reformationpublishers.com. When you go to their page, you scroll all the way to the bottom of their page and you'll find our cookbook there. Also at the very bottom, there's a place for you to leave a comment. We absolutely love reading your comments. I'm just going to admit how old we are. Melissa and I sit in the evenings and reply to your comments, and we read them back and forth to each other. We'll be like, oh, we found so-and-so's comment. Here's what he said. Oh, we found this person's comment. Here's what she said. So feel free to go down there and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. We do appreciate you being here, and we want you to remember that you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day. And thanks again, Jane.